grand day, grand evening, wherever you are across this lovely universe in time and space. I am your High Priestess, Oya Shekbet Ishel Ajay, and thank you for tuning into my channel, the House of Black Obsidian. I want to apologize for not posting in a very, very long time. It's been quite some months since like probably February since I posted. But I had to take a step back on some things, restructure, regroup, cope with some things. I actually lost my grandmother at the beginning of this year. A day, um, exactly 2 years to the day of the day I lost my father. So while going through it and helping my grandmother transition, I was okay. Well, at least I thought I was okay. And then I had to take a step back and regroup and recuperate and reset and dive deep into some things and really figure some things out. Um, and it's still a process. It made me kind of just really look at a lot of different things, a lot of aspects in my life, and reassess a lot. So, however, I'm back. Spirit's been on me about getting these messages out. Um, so I have to get myself back in gear to be able to get the messages to the people. So thank you again for tuning in. I am your High Priestess Oyaje, and this is my channel, the House of the Black Obsidian. Just gonna come and deliver just a little few short messages for you guys and just kind of let spirit lead this morning. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. Doesn't resonate, leave it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, angels, ancestors, guides, for the messages I'm going to receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashe. What I will start off and say is show gratitude in all things, whether it be a struggled situation, tough times. Um, there's a lesson in everything. Like I said, whether good or bad, but really, what is good or bad? It is two different ends of a spectrum. But what happens when you get to the middle of that spectrum? You're at that 0 point, right? Where things blend, harmonize. Um, we're in the energy right now of harmonization. There's no longer that thing of balance and dualities. We are moving to the completeness of wholeness, if that makes any sense. There's really no separation. There's just two ends of the spectrum. But yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into the cards. I'm going to pull from my Oracle deck first, see what's there, and then get into the Tarot deck. Like I said on previous videos, I always like reaching back and reading the messages out of the actual books that come with my decks, just because those have a lot of just, messages. And it doesn't matter how small or how big the message is or how big or small the paragraph is, there's always something that I find different. I'm diving deep into things. So here we go. This particular deck is a sacred geometry deck. Really like it. All right, so what general messages do you have for the collective? we have the Kabbalah. Okay. The Labyrinth. I don't know if you guys can see that. Really. There you go, the Labyrinth. And the medicine wheel. Okay. Kabbalah is number 62, which I believe is the last deck or the last card um, in this deck. The Labyrinth is 31, the medicine wheel is 20. Right off the top of my head, I know the medicine wheel definitely resonates with the Mayan culture. We all know the Kabbalah kind of resonates with what society puts as the Jewish community. However, it's your DNA, it's your tree of life, it's your structure. It makes you you. And I was wrong. 62, the Kabbalah is not the last one in the actual deck. Anyhow, Kabbalah, the tree of life. Many cultures around the planet hold trees in reverence. Most culture native to forest or jungled environments have elaborated myths surrounding the power of trees. Some even consider them gods or a means of traveling to the spirit world. Excuse me, I'm a little hungry. um, their names are various: tree of knowledge, tree of perfection, the world tree. For the Maya, it was the raised up sky tree. From mystical Judaism, the cards diagram a tree of life called the Kabbalah. It holds instructions of conscious self exploration. It is the world access within. 10 archetypes, 10 lights. The geometry of the tree of life is also encoded within the figure called the flower of life. Pulling this card suggests that you are in process of self actualization and growth. Guess you need a little bit of sex in there too. I don't know why that popped up. That's a word that came out of my mouth. But anyway, um, you have, you may wish to contemplate this card and the relationship of the diagram. You may decide to research and learn more about the process the Kabbalah represents. The important point here is exploration of self and spirit and your movement toward wholeness. Confirmation. That's exactly what I just said. Um, all right, so it's really interesting because there's multiple shapes within this one shape. Um, but as far as each circle point, each archetype, there's the crown, there's understanding and wisdom, which is at the top. And then you have power, mercy, and beauty. And you have glory, victory, and foundation. And at the bottom is kingdom. Okay. If you notice, it kind of aligns with the chakras. There's so much with this. But the only way to become complete within your wholeness is to travel within and go deep within, inner within, and navigate every orifices, like it's, you see how the card kind of, you get to a point and then you can ping pong up here, over here. Like, that's the whole point, is for you to go within and navigate all those things and ping pong around and find out what those triggers are, what those lessons are, and deal with them and bring them up to the surface and deal with them. So that way, if and when it pops up again, you're able to combat it. Um, Otherwise, you're still seeing yourself as separate from the collective, and you're not. You make a difference. But we have to realize that the one small thing, small movement that we do can not only take us out of alignment, but take the whole out of alignment. So until we learn that, yes, we are an individual, but us as that individual are a part of that whole, um, there's always going to be confusion and discord. All right, the labyrinth. The labyrinth is the spiritual path. The labyrinth is an ancient design found in most cultures. Some examples date back more than 4,000 years. And labyrinth have probably always been used as a spiritual tool. A labyrinth has only one avenue. Its geometry combines a circle and spiral into a purposeful, meandering path. The way in is the way out. There are no blind alleys. A profound tool of meditation is the labyrinth. It is a metaphor for your spiritual path. Approach this card as you might walk a physical labyrinth. From a passive, receptive mindset, allow activation of your intuition and inner knowing. As you view this card in relationship to your inquiry, open to any messages you may receive and feel how your emotions respond to these insights. Move from your outer point of inquiry to the place of your inner knowing. Sit in your sacred center. Give thanks for the gifts that you have received and move outward where the guidance can become your truth. The only way to figure out what the situation, the issue, the stagnation, um, the consistency of issues of the same issue revolving and coming around again and again and again is to go within, to dig deep, to find the triggers, to find the problems. Like, what's the issue? Sometimes, yes, those things are right on the surface, as soon as you get in there, but you have to go within to find out and solve that issue to come back without to be able to put it out in the world as a solved problem and not as a issue. Who wants to keep projecting issues into the universe? Those issues are only going to ping pong back to you. Um, this kind of goes into something that I've been reading and studying with a group of like minded, highly intelligent individuals. The Master Key by Charles Haanel. It says the world within is the world without, the world without is the world within. If you don't go inward, how are you going to know what the triggers are or what the issue is? But most people, once again, often project as opposed to going within. But in order to reach that true path of wholeness in the Kabbalah, you have to ping pong down and go within that labyrinth and in that maze and sometimes go down that rabbit hole in order to come back out to stand tall and stand on top of those issues proud because you've solved them. Take up space within. It also brings me to the space of transformation, transmutation. As you're traveling the spiral, you have to be able to learn how to expand your energy and contract your energy. Depends on the size of the spiral that you're going through. Just like when you bring yourself to the world, you should never really shrink yourself to fit into a space. You should always exude your light bright, but there are times where you do need to pull back and go within and study your own light before bringing it out into the world again and again and again. Um, just know that with every level of ascension, of fine tuning those chakras, you're going to have to adjust. When you ascend another level, you're not done. You're just graduating to another level of lessons that you have to go through the same process. So, for every time we ascend or our frequencies, our vibrations change, even if it's a point 0.1 or 0.00001 notch of those vibrations, you have to realign all of your chakras to match that frequency, to be in alignment in order to, quantum leap into that next level. Um, so there's gonna have to be a lot of healing going on right now with those chakras. If you notice the Kabbalah card and the medicine wheel, um, all have kind of like the colors of the chakras to a certain extent. Um, there's also light projecting out of each side, almost it looks like a cross. Um, the only way to project your light is to go within to the labyrinth and heal yourself. All right, medicine wheel. Medicine wheel, connection to nature. Medicine wheel and medicine shields are traditional ceremonial tools of the native people. They act as containers of sacred space, and they are a means of connecting with spirit. They embody the symbolism of circle, often used the equilateral cross and the square, and commonly employ animals and elemental totems as icons of protection and connectedness. This card offers a view of nature as a medicine wheel and asks you to remember your absolute connection to nature and the continuous movement and flow of seasons and the heavens. Viewing ourselves as separate from nature leads us to alienation and loneliness. You will you will con you will find comfort, and psychic protection in viewing time and circumstances as part of the natural progression of life. Remember that you are part of the all that is, one with God and not separate. Told you the cards just confirm everything I say. Um, each molecule of your being is a spark of energy and light that connects with every other energetic particle in a way that speaks to unity and oneness with everything in the universe. Viewed in this way, you see clearly that you are never alone, always loved and always protected. Mm, I got chills. You're never alone. All times you may feel alone, but I will just say this. During this path, at the beginning of the path of my spiritual ascension, um, I didn't understand and I did not like being alone. And of course, it was after a pretty rough breakup. But once I started diving deep more into myself, that self love and appreciation exuded the comfortability of being in solitude and being able to be alone and being okay with it. We need times of being alone so we can sit with ourselves and sit in our own thoughts and talk to spirit and hear from spirit. Sometimes that is the most serene, loving place to be, is within solitude and loneliness and quietness with yourself so you can be alone with spirit, because remember, you're never alone. Spirit's always there. It's just, how do you seek and find comfort in that relationship with spirit? And there was something that was said in that book that kind of piqued interest into a book that I just read, actually, and I have it right here. It's called Sacred Relationships. Um, and yeah, it does talk about the intimate erotic love, but it puts things in a whole nother perspective when it comes to the three S's, as I call it: sexuality, sensuality, and spirituality. They are all one. And even in those three S's, you have, or spirit comes in threes. I mean, you have the two people who are involved in the relationship, and they make a container, just like that book said, and this one said, you make a container, which is a third entity. Um, and you're constantly filling that container, and it's constantly expanding as you guys learn and grow each other. But we're all connected, like I said. Realize that that one um, decision, that one mishap, that one misunderstanding, one miscommunication, uh, that projection not only affects you, but affects the collective. And once we realize that, we might be in a better space as a human race. Just brought something back to something I was reading yesterday, but that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. So that's what we have for the oracle cards. Um, Pretty much confirmed what I said. There's no separateness. There's wholeness. And it's just really time for us to tap into that and understand that. And I know right now, in this time that we're living in, it's kind of hard with everything going on. I don't really watch the news, so I don't know everything that's going on, but the little bits and pieces of things that I do hear, um, it's a distraction. It's fear mongering. It's propaganda. It's to keep you in that space of fear so you don't tap in to who you really are. And then some of us, it's pushing us to tap in more, and becoming more one with self. Um, there's still going to be a lot of purging going on, and self-assessment, assessment of people, places, and things around you. Um, a lot of releasing still. There's going to be a lot of struggle with that release, but you have to stand tall and really know and understand your purpose. Why are you here? What are you here to do? What things are you here to accomplish? Not for yourself, for the greater good of the collective. It brings me back to earlier this week when once again with my group of like-minded, highly intelligent, spiritual individuals, reading the Master Key. It says, how do you, like, it pretty much kind of talks about how do you become a money magnet, and it says by being of service to others. And when you take the selfishness out of things and become selfless, you're doing the work of the Most High Spirit. You're doing the work of the Spirit. Um, but then in that, your discernment is very key right now. Your discernment of people, places, and things could be life or death at this point. Discerning of the things that you eat, the spaces you're in, the people you're around, the places you go, even if they're familiar, that one familiar place that you may go to, and because you haven't been there in a while or even a day, have could have possibly taken on an energy that is totally um, on the opposite end of the spectrum. But how do you to move towards harmonization of that other energy on the end of the spectrum? Because once again, everything can't always be love and light, because then that's not balanced. But then even with that, you have to be able to harmonize that to live in that 1-0 point. But yeah, all right. So I'm gonna get into the tarot. I really don't want to pull a whole lot of cards. But I do want to also say thank you again for tuning into my channel. I am your High Priestess, Hygh. This is my channel in the House of the Black Obsidian. I just came on here just to do a few cards and give you guys a few messages. Be a fool, go all in, and let the spirit lead. Because otherwise, you're stalling your blessings and you're self sabotaging yourself, and you're just holding up and what you're trying to call to yourself. Essentially, setting yourself up for mistrust and distrust with yourself. If you ain't got trust, then you ain't got love. If you ain't got love, you ain't got trust. All right, spirit. Okay. It's a lot of damn cards. I'm stick those back in there and they literally just dropped out. And if they pop out again like that, then I guess it's just meant to be. All right, we have Chance and Seven of Wands. That just reminded me of Coming to America. Go ahead, honey. Take a chance. All right, so this card keeps popping up. So is this one, this one, and this one, which were all the cards that just literally just popped out of the deck. So, all right. There we go. Right, so I have Chance, Seven of Wands, the Mystic, Ace of Wands, Six of Pentacles, Three of Wands, Nine of Swords, and Queen of Pentacles. Chance card is the Wheel of Fortune card in most decks. See the card. All right. So she teeters on the edge of land. The goddess teeters on the edge of land while a large wave builds in the background. Alligator snips at her heels, but a beautiful blossom of buds from its back. On one hand, she holds a ball of light where she comes to focus during this time of possible turmoil. In the other hand, she holds a sheet of darkness containing mysteries even the stars do not know. Yet, in the same hand, she holds a small flower, reminding us that reminding us there is growth even in the darkness of your days. Her dress is covered in hearts, suggesting the act of her her dress is covered with hearts, suggesting to act through love and kindness during these times of trials, tribulation, and times of triumph. Through all of this, the flowers grow from her, reminding us that through chance and change, there is growth. Her crown is adorned with flower or with flames, referencing elements of spirituality, creativity, and passion. This card reminds you of all the opportunities that life has to offer. Life has its goods and bads, but instead of thinking of them as opposing forces, consider how they work in contrast to offer lessons. Let me tell y'all, I don't need these cards. I just do this to confirm what Spirit already tells me. Everybody has tools, right? These are my tools, okay? But thank you, 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 thank you. Now, Shay Spirit, thank you for these messages. See every opportunity as a way to engage your power and path. Nothing is working against you, but sometimes blocks come to show you another way. It's possible. Maybe you working too damn hard. You're working harder, not smarter. 80-20 rule. You're going to keep exhausting yourself and putting 80% of work in there and only getting 20% output? Or you're going to find a way to work smarter and put 20% input in there and get 80% output. Someone said that that's impossible. Bullshit. When you tap in and you let spirit lead, you'll get the results that you need. Be open to all changes that life has to offer, but not making fearful or shallow decisions and remaining open to the opportunities as they present themselves. Stop moving out of fear. Simple. But I know it's hard in these times not to move out of fear when you guys constantly keep seeing the propaganda and the projections and everything that's going on the TV and in the world and society and our governments. You have to find a way to step out of that for a moment. Be in the world, but not of this world, people. Hello. It's in the very Bible that we read, which is also a tool, the keys to life, to tap it into your spirituality. So was the Quran, yeah, the Torah. They're all keys that unlock the door to your soul. Like, come on, to your DNA. Like, there's so much. I mean, I could literally just go on and on and on, but I ain't got time. I actually got to get to work. Um, Let me even say this. Even though I am doing my work right now, I'm doing my spiritual work from not only myself, but for the collective. So this is work. Um, this is my job. But when I said I have to get to work, I don't punch the clock for anybody else. I'm an entrepreneur. Um, but that's a whole another conversation there again too. All right, so we got the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. Our goddess stands on the pedestal looking out to the landscape of lush purple flowers and leaves. The purple denotes regality, royal, but also intuition and universal connection. She has worked hard to achieve her position. She is surrounded by wands of support, alternatively, of those trying to knock her off her pedestal. Right. Um, you may be feeling the energy of those who want to test your will. This is a card of leading without fear and not worrying about your status or your ego. Allow yourself to be fierce and bold and true in doing work that benefits others around you. Be of service to others. Be a warrior, but know when to use the strength and when to rely on other aspects of yourself to shine. Be an example for your community by leading with abundance and humility, and you will be supported. Keywords: test, preservation, trial, conservation, leadership, and ego. Everybody keeps saying ego, death, kill the ego. No, 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 no. Harmonize that ego. Because if you kill it, I'm sorry, in this 3D world that we're in, you still need that ego. I don't care what nobody keeps saying, ego death, you got to kill the ego and all that. Yeah, you're going to end up killing your ego to come back and find that you humbly need that ego to survive in this 3D world, in this society. Once again, you walking around, yes, okay. Yes, send everybody love and light. But you walking around in the spiritual, in the 5D world with your head in the clouds, like everything's all rainbows, unicorns, and sunshine. Hey, Spirit's gonna bring you back down and drop you back down into reality and be like, hey, you live here. Yes, everything's blissful up there, but your physical body's here. There's some things you got to do here. Finding the harmonization of being able to keep your head up in the 5D while your body's down here in the 3D, and the connection between those. Um, Lead without fear. Face the shit head on. Stop being a pussy. Excuse my language, but not. Stop being scared. What you scared of? Because that shadow that you're probably scared of is just your shadow self that you're running away from. Your shadow self is just probably trying to give you some messages to quantum leap you into that next level. All right, the mystic. The mystic. The mystic is traditionally the Hierophant card. Mermaid goddess stands in her element of water intuition. One hand she holds a wand, an instrument of inspiration, and in the other a ball of light indicating wisdom embodied. She glances back she glances back to an open book with keys upon its page. She wears a crown adorned with shells and bears herself in a ritual before the moons and the flowers. Two moons, both full, shine brightly upon the poppies and the waves, reminding us of the promise and the threat of our dream state. While beautiful and intoxicating, they can also overwhelm like an ocean and leave you detached. Find your flow and channel higher guidance to work with your best self. With her staff, orb, and candle, she illuminates a path where none exist. This card signifies a merge of spirituality and material realms in dynamic tensions. Mystic, being a creature of two worlds, the hidden and the seen, invites us to explore our consciousness and subconscious selves as a siren. She lures you into the deep. When endeavoring in spiritual matters, be sure to maintain balance, apply the knowledge of the hidden world with wisdom, and do not forget that we all choose to be here. Allow two moons to light the way and two keys to open the portals. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just move on to the next card because I just said everything in the last piece. So yes, Ace of Wands. All right, Ace of Wands. A wand bright is a beam of light, sprouts forth from a mass of wild flowers towering before the stars in the sky. This card is this card of primal creative and spiritual energy represents the spark of growth and that no one can see yet. What did I just say? That quantum leap. When you're doing service for others, people, I can only give you guys examples myself and the things that I have gone through and I have lived. I cannot speak for everybody's situation. Everybody's like, some people don't like the fact that tarot readers bring their own situation into, but how else am I going to be able to describe it if I haven't lived it? Everything doesn't always have to be so spooky and mystical. Shit. We all go through things and we all learn from them lessons. But if I have a lesson that I've learned from and I'm able to help somebody else, I'm going to give it to you. So, anyway, that spark of growth and that being of service to others. I take right now, I'm doing some major things, but in a monetary, materialistic means, no, there's no compensation. So people who are still of this worldly bullshit, oh, how much are you getting paid to do that? How much? It's not, first and foremost, it's none of your fucking business. For two, my source and my sense of compensation and value is not the same as everyone else's. A spiritual compensation is a lot more, I don't even know the word that I'm looking for. Plain and simple is better than sometimes a monetary compensation. You guys need to think about that because a lot of people sell their souls to what we call the devil in order to get those monetary means. Is it worth it? Was it worth it? Because most of y'all out here are soulless motherfuckers. Anyway, a seed of being planted, and here life begins. Unseen, unreserved, with all of its potential. This is creativity unrecognized, raw and pure. This is the beginning point of creation, the light and the darkness in the womb, the lingam in the bed of flowers, um, which the lingam is the wand of light, creativity. Um, let things flow. Do not edit, filter right now. Do not question. You don't need answers. Trust passion, ideas, creativity to illuminate your growth. This is the flower about to bloom. It doesn't try, it is a flower. That is what it does. It unfolds. Keywords: potential, inspiration, flow, truth, and growth. Trust yourself in this growth process. Show up authentically as who you are. Don't shrink yourself for anybody. Don't hide away. Don't run away. Embody all of yourself. But when I say show up authentically as yourself, I don't mean this 3D self. Because a lot of y'all's 3D selves is low vibrational, ratchet as fuck. So please don't show up authentically as that. Dive deep into your spirit and really find out who you are, because a lot of that, most of that is ego, and that those egos are just masks. But sometimes you know when to put your mask on and when to take it off, who to put your mask on with and who to take it off, and not necessarily be fake or unauthentic. Just don't give people all of you. Like I said, discerning who you're around is important. And I've done that myself and not really discerned and really just showed up all of authentically as who I am and intimidated a lot of motherfuckers, or, you know, uh, not necessarily put a bad taste in people's mouth, because my light just shines so bright that it just irritates people's demons. And there's people that don't like me, and I'm good with that. Because guess what? I love me. And I'm not seeking your gratification, which none of you should be seeking other people's gratification. Don't live your life for others. Live for yourself and higher spirit. Because guess what? When you transition, you ain't got nobody to answer for but yourself. And guess what? Like the Labyrinth say, you chose this. All right, so Six of Pentacles. Our goddess sits upon a mountain top surrounded by levitating pentacles. They move in a circle, denoting cycles. She has abundance and meditates on the world below, sending her bounty to share with them. Like the goddess before her, she trusts in shining, in trust in sharing. Yeah, in shining. Um, for it does not diminish what she has. Mm. Being of service to others should not make you feel like it's diminishing or taking away from you. And if it is, then you need to reassess, why are you giving and what is your purpose, because you're obviously not coming from a heart space and giving without anything back in expectation. So, like goddess before her, she trusts in sharing, for it does not diminish what she has, as everything good returns to those pure of heart. When we give back, we achieve balance, as we remember being on the other side of misfortune and needing help from others. You are now in a position to bring others fortune. A need to share with and care for others might be karmatically indicated. Abundance, charity, community, sharing, resources, giving, and receiving. So, giving and receiving. Giving and receiving is a sacred practice. Giving is typically a masculine form. Receiving is the femininity form. Just like in sexual practices, the man is the giver, the woman is the receiver. They're both creating, but when combined, it's pure bliss, right? Um, Finding that 0 point between giving and receiving is going to be your ultimate bliss. I mean, I can't say it any more than what the cards have already said and what I've said. Be of service to others. That's how you become that money magnet that you want to become. It's how you call forth all those things that you want. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. That's how you lead. That's how you show up in your community. Um, Three of Wands, Three of Wands, Three of Wands. The goddess skips and glides over the dark waves of water beneath her. Small islands of flowers produce beautiful staves of light with snowy mountains in the background. A sun hauls a sun hails overhead as she bounds and leaps, grasps the middle wand. She is helping life grow amidst a barren landscape, and the sunshine lets her know the universe supports her endeavors. Now may be a time to now may be a time of big ideas for you. Signals a vision unseen to other. Your vision, your dreams aren't always going to be seen, embodied, accepted, appreciated, and loved by everyone around you, or maybe not anyone at all. But guess who does appreciate it? God, Spirit, your higher self, because that's who gave it to you. So take it and run with it. Okay. You feel grounded in this connection to the world around you and what can be offered. Believe in what you feel called to and trust that others will believe in it as well. What you are creating is something for everyone. Keep spreading your magic all the power that you possess will be recognized. Success, recognition, innovation, contribution, and trailblazing. Man, go out there and set your own path. That's your choice. That's your free will. We are all the architects of our own ship. You navigate the ship. You tell it where to go, right? So you have the choice of either keep controlling things yourself or just allowing the spirit to lead. And the smartest thing for you to do is to allow the spirit to lead so that you don't end up in a position where you're self sabotaging. Nine of Swords. A goddess stands amidst a field of overgrown wildflowers. Nine swords hang in the sky behind her. She holds a pomegranate, referring to the High Priestess card to denote the nourishment we require to feel alive. In her left hand, she holds a bundle of sage to her nose, an herb known to cleanse and transmute energy. This may be a time of loss, frustration, anxiety, and worry. All I heard was breathe. During these times, tap into breath work. Research breath work. It's very important. Breathing is life. Breathing is how you hear from God. Breathing is thought. Between every thought is a breath. Between every breath is a thought. And what is that? That's life. That's consciousness. That's God. Slow down to appreciate the breath of life. Your chi, your ka. Stop moving so fast. While you might feel daggers dangling over your head, look for your field of flowers and give yourself space to breathe. Man. This card is traditionally dark. When it's at its darkest, we soon see the light. Clear your energy and shine bright. Connect back to yourself. Acknowledge hurt and release it. Past hurts, worry, meditation, cleansing, feeling your feelings. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be in your feelings. It's okay to sit in those feelings so you can navigate them, but don't stay in them. I mean, it's like a ship just staying in the middle of the ocean and just staying there and just rocking and never going anywhere, never seeing anything, just staying. That's boring. That's miserable. That's insanity. Who wants to just sit there and wallow? I mean, unless you ain't got no choice and you stranded, because you don't cut every bridge that you cross with people. And sometimes you need those moments and those wake up calls to be able to find your own way out. But guess what? Guess who's always there? The mermaid, the mystic, the portals. Okay? You have the key to lightness, the key to darkness within you. Use them wisely. Which door do you open for what situation? Like I said, everything can't always be love and light. You're going to have those people who are going to challenge you and cross you, and you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet and show up with that dark energy sometimes to let motherfuckers know, like, hey, you can't keep crossing me. Like, for real, though. Is God all love and light? When we really read the Bible and the Quran and those things, does God not have wrath for just cause? So if you are of God, is it not okay for you to have a wrath for just cause? The only sin is to go out here and just be wrathful and just doing stuff recklessly. But it's not necessarily an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth either. Discernment. Is that battle worth it? Or do you just walk away and turn the other cheek because it's not worth the energy? But do you keep turning the other cheek all the time and not facing the fact and being a pussy, like I said earlier, and running away and being a coward and not facing 0 point? Queen of Pentacles. It's interesting how I always say I'm going to do a quick video, and Spirit always has me in here for at least an hour. Um, I'm good with that because I have messages and I am doing my work. Queen of Pentacles. Queen sits atop her throne with a wand of light in one hand and a coin in the other. She is surrounded by the arc of flowers in muted jeweled tones, while a ram and a rabbit sit before her. She has her third eye open, indicating that she uses her intuition to call in abundance. She celebrates and guards her bounty. Spirituality, represented by the wand, is half the balance, as above is below. We must keep it in the forefront of our consciousness when working with the pentacles. The queen has reverence and gratitude for it, as well as every material thing in her kingdom. Mushrooms grow from the ground, reminding us that abundance comes from in many forms. We must appreciate what the world offers, even if it's not what we were expecting. The ram represents the ability to reach our goals by finding workarounds to roadblocks so that we may ascend to the top. The rabbit reminds us to act with swiftness and can represent a portal of success, fertility, and abundance. Keywords: practical success, abundance, and nurture. So there's your portal. Like I said, monetary means. Those compensations may not always be what we expected or what other people expected, but what you're doing and when you're being a service to others, opening up that portal of abundance, wealth, health, prosperity, and harmonization for yourself. So, with that being said, I am your High Priestess, Hygh, and thank you for tuning in to my channel, The House of Black Obsidian. Sending nothing but love, light, energy out to everyone across the time and space, every time, space, every universe, every multiverse. I love you guys. Go out today and be your best self. Dive deep and show up authentically as yourself. Remove all fear and do things from your heart space, and you will call forth those things that you want. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. I love you guys. Peace, blessings, and sending nothing but love and light to you all.